Oh, okay. Ready? All right. Good morning, Todd County. Welcome to Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024, Todd County Board of Commissioners regular board meeting. Today we have with us Commissioner Denny, Commissioner Becker, Commissioner Byer, Commissioner Noska, Commissioner Newman, along with Auditor Treasurer Gaida, Coordinator Pelzer. The county attorney is not here right now. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Once again, good morning. Is there any amendments to the agenda?
I have none, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Do we have a motion, please, for the agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Becker. Discussion. If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Board organization. I would open the floor to nominations for chairperson of the Todd County Board. Do we have any nominations?
I think we talked about this last meeting, so I mean, if anyone else has any other, I thought Commissioner Becker was willing to take that seat. Was that correct, Barb?
Yeah, I would.
So I would nominate Barb Becker for
Okay,
board chair.
so I got to go through the process. So is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? And last call, is there any other nominations? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve Commissioner Becker as chairperson for 2024 for Todd County Board of Commissioners. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There you go, Barb.
No, thank you. The next item business would be establishing the board vice chair, and I'd be looking for nominations. Nominations for vice chair.
I'll nominate Randy.
We have Commissioner Newman nominated. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing no other nominations. Did I ask for a second for that motion?
Randy didn't either. As chair, you
Okay.
proceeded just to go on with the nominations. There were no
Okay.
other nominations, so you cease nominations.
So
and
I'll
vote.
now cease nominations, and all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries. And
Thank you.
then we'll go on to the consent items.
Consent items today would be the meeting minute approval for December 28th, 2023, a gambling permit for Midwest Outdoors Unlimited. That'll happen on 3/2 of 24, and a hire social worker Crystal Wozniak, start date 1/3/2024.
Okay, hearing the consent items, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
A motion by Denning, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Byers. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries. And I'll call Kathy Langer.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. I have a board action form and a resolution today for appointment to the Community Corrections Executive Committee and Advisory. In accordance with Minnesota Statutes, Chapter 401, in 1976, Todd and Wadena counties entered into a joint powers agreement and established Todd Community Corrections. As part of the joint powers agreement, membership of the Todd Community Corrections Executive Committee and Advisory Board needs to be appointed by the boards of commissioners in Todd and Wadena counties. I have an attached resolution listing membership of the Executive Committee and Advisory Board. The names of the commissioners in the draft resolution are blank.
Thank you, sorry, are blank, and membership will need of the Todd County Board will need to be appointed today, including 2 commissioners to be named by the board. So I am respectfully requesting that the Board of Commissioners appoint 2 Todd County commissioners to the Executive Committee and Advisory Board and adopt the proposed resolution.
Sitting on that board right now would be myself and Commissioner Naska are the 2 that are sitting on that board at this time. And at this time, I would ask for a motion to put the 2 members on the correction board.
Commissioner Becker,
Yeah.
are you good with being on again?
Yes,
Okay, as am I. If anyone else wants it, that's fine, but I would like to take that again,
Okay, that's good.
so.
I would need an emotion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion for myself and Commissioner Becker to
Okay,
sit on the advisory committee and the executive committee.
that's correct. And a motion by Naska, is there a second?
Second, Madam Chair.
Second by Newman. Is there any discussion? Hearing is no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and carries. So it'll be Commissioner Naska and myself that would be sitting on that board then, Kathy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Would the board also consider adopting the resolution?
Oh, sorry about that. You should have put that.
That's okay.
Yes. Is there a motion for the adoption of the resolution?
I'll motion for that as well.
Okay, motion by Naska. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Danny. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and carries. Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome, thank you.
Auditor Treasurer?
Well, first item I have today then is the auditor warrants for December 2023. Background is sent for your review. Recommendation is to approve the December 2023 auditor warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling in the amount of $1,992,487.35.
Okay, and is there a motion for the auditor warrants?
So moved.
Motion by Naska. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denning. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call?
Commissioner Naska,
Yes.
Commissioner Denny,
Yes.
Commissioner Byers,
Yes.
Commissioner Newman,
Yes.
Commissioner Becker.
Yes.
The next item I have then is the official 2024 official newspaper designation. Background, Minnesota Statute 375.12 requires that annual letting of bids for publication to be held for the publication of the official proceedings of the official Todd County Board meetings and notices. And I only have one bid before me today, and I'll open that in front of your presence. So this was submitted December 15th. This letter is written to the Todd County Board of Commissioners, the Long Prairie Leader, on behalf of the Leader and the Independent News Herald and the Staples World, respectfully submit a bid of $18 per column for the designated official newspaper of Todd County. The Long Prairie Leader will act as the lead newspaper under a joint publishers agreement signed by the Long Prairie Leader, the Independent News Herald of Clarissa, and the Staples World of Staples. Additionally, the Long Prairie Leader will then publish the official notices and proceedings of the Todd County in the Osakis Anchor newspaper at no additional cost to Todd County for the year of 2024. Jason Brown, publisher. And then this is just the publisher's agreement he sent along if you wanted to review it, where they have an agreement between the 3 newspapers.
Okay, I will ask for a motion to accept the 2024 official newspaper.
So moved.
Motion by Newman, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Naska. Discussion?
I will say, Madam Chair, that last year's amount for Legal Pub was $14 per column. So we have seen a significant increase this year.
And what was it this
So-
year, Denise?
This year is 18.
18, it went up
Last
4.
year was 14. So going into budget, we're going to want to keep an eye on that.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
And the next item I have then would be the extra publication, 2024 extra publication newspaper designation. Again, Minnesota statute 375.12 requires that annual letting of bids be held for publication of the extra proceedings of the Todd County Board meetings and notices. And again, we had one bid, and I'll open that in front of you. And this comes from December 15th, from the Long Prairie Leader. The Long Prairie Leader LLC respectfully submits a rate of $12 per column inch for the designation of extra printing of the financial statement for the year of 2023 to be printed in 2024. The bid is made jointly on behalf of the Long Prairie Leader or Long Prairie I think he means of Long Prairie, Independent News Herald of Clarissa, and the Staples World of Staples. Respectfully submitted, Jason Baum, publisher. And that last year's amount was $11.25 per column inch, and we are going to 12.
Okay.
And that's the only bid we have.
Okay, thank you. I will ask for a motion for the extra publication of newspaper.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Byers. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
The next item I have then is the 2024 Todd County Board of Commissioners Board Protocol. The background, the Todd County Board of Commissioners wish to create a transparent process for the order of the county board meetings and notices. The Todd County Board of Commissioners met in work session on December 19, 2023 to consider and propose updates to the Todd County Board Protocol document for 2024. Attached is the protocol, and the recommendation is to adopt the attached resolution to establish the 2024 Todd County Board of Commissioners Board Protocol.
I'll ask for a motion for the adoption of the Todd County Commissioners Board Protocol.
So moved.
Motion by, I'm not sure, Byers. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Newman. Discussion.
Yes, Madam Chair. Question on mileage.
Yes.
Is that within the board protocol of where we get paid from, whether we're going to our board meetings or committee assignments?
The board protocol talks about Robert's rules, special meetings, roll call minutes, public comment, the order and decorum of how the meeting goes, how you address Mr. Chair or Madam Chair. It's proper protocol. Talks about the agenda, the consent items, and it talks about when you can have discussion and debate, how your voting proceeds go, ordinances, and the clerk to the county board. Mileage will come at a time when we bring, and I believe it'll be next week, when we get the interest, or the rate from the feds. That'll be coming. So that's not in, there's no verbiage suggestions, so no, it's not in there.
Okay.
I mean, you could add it in there if you wanted, but it's usually when we bring the resolution saying what the federal rate is.
Well, maybe we should discuss that. Being on the board as long as I have, I've always submitted my mileage from home to here or from home to wherever my committee is at. So are we doing it properly that way?
According to audit standards, it's set from when you're a county commissioner, your mileage starts from your home to the boardroom. And then that's it. And then if you go to other meetings that day, it's from your home. If you come to a board meeting, and then if you have to go to the next meeting until you get home. So I haven't noticed anything that's out of the ordinary, but everybody should know it's from your home to the board
But it's the
meeting.
round trip, it's the
Yes,
Yeah, round
it's the
trip.
round trip.
round trip,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not here and then go back home, and then here and then go back
No.
home. It's
What,
you start in the morning.
what are the details? What if I'm, not at home? What if I'm staying with my parents or my grandparents or?
That's from your home. That's how it is in audit standards. So
That's
if
how it
you're
is in-
like in
I'm-
Florida,
No, yeah, obviously, I'm not grabbing from Florida, but, you know,
audit standards would be, it's written that it's from your starting place of your home, because that's the place you established when you signed up as commissioner. So it's from home to, yeah. So you're not gonna be, like I said, like in.
well, for
South-
me personally, it's not like, I mean, I literally, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Is there any further discussion?
Madam Chair, can I just ask for a little bit of
Yes.
clarification? With the audit standards, is that something that's a written standard?
It's not, it's written in, not by audit, like in the GASB rules or anything, by government standards. It's in the audit practice. So that's why I think putting it in a board protocol or putting it in our, when we do our rate per standard rate,
Yeah,
whatever it
okay.
is, federal rate,
We accept the federal rate, right?
yeah. Whatever the federal rate is at that time when we do that board action. But I mean, that's why I think Mr. Chair, or Madam Chair, I think that's why Commissioner Newman's asking me to add this to this board protocol. Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may?
Yes.
I have certain meetings that are, because of my workplace, very close sometimes or very far. And say I work in Little Falls, my day job, other than this, and I have meetings for TRICAP there in Little Falls right after I'm done. So let's say it's a 5 o'clock meeting. I stay there at work there. I don't charge mileage from home to Little Falls when I'm in Little Falls and go there, but vice versa. If I'm in Little Falls and I have to drive here for a meeting, do I charge from Little Falls to here because that's my place of
I
work?
think you have to establish that as a board, because
Well, but I'm just saying.
I know,
The way I
because
did
we
it
don't
all
have
last year
anything
was
written.
where I would generally start that day is where I started my mileage, and where I would generally end that day is where I would end my
Right,
mileage.
and I totally
Coming
understand
to and
that.
here.
Yep,
So,
I understand.
yeah, it's just, sometimes it works as, it's
In
2
the
miles
favor
away
and similar.
because I'm in Little Falls, but sometimes it adds a few miles to the travel, but I'm traveling out of the ordinary for a
I think
meeting where-
those are exceptions to the rule.
Right, yeah,
It's
I'm just
typically,
claiming, because I don't,
yeah.
if we put a home address on that, if it has to be your home address where your start point is, it kind of puts a
I do
monkey
know a
wrench in
lot
it if
of,
you're everywhere.
we've gone through this before.
Right.
Years ago, and I do know in talking with other counties and with the auditors, that you either pick one way of doing it, or you establish the home residence. So that's up to you as a board, that's not my
So can we
decision.
just put this on a work session for the next board meeting and
Sure, I can. I will get
discuss
some
it a little
data to
further?
gathered.
Okay. My question is, if we adopt the policy or protocol today, can we amend it if we want to
You'll
change it?
have,
Or
you
we
can
can go ahead,
adopt this.
we
and
can
that-
adopt it
Yes,
and,
and then
Because-
that mileage could also go in the travel policy later on. I mean, we can establish that at the next work session, because I think,
This doesn't say anything about that at all.
no,
No.
Currently, so we can adopt this as.
because this is more board.
Yeah.
This is the decorum of the board, how you're supposed to be respectful in the board.
The
and
Ps and
Our
Qs.
meetings and, excuse
The
me?
Ps and Qs of running the meeting.
Exactly, that's what
Right.
this is. The mileage
Right.
is totally
Sergeant.
something.
Okay.
Gotcha.
okay. Is there any further discussion? If no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And it carries.
All right, now I'm lost.
Denise?
The 2024 board meeting schedule dates. It is customary for the County Board of Commissioners to set the county board meeting schedule at the first board meeting of each year and adjust accordingly for known scheduling conflicts. It's the recommendation to approve to continue to hold the County Board of Commissioners meeting on the first and third Tuesday of every month at 9 a.m. in the Todd County Historic Courthouse, and work sessions designated by the board chair or 3 members of the county board as deemed necessary. The county board also approves that the November 5th, 2024 meeting be moved to November 4th, 2024, and that the December 3rd meeting, 2024, meeting be moved to December 6th, 2024, and that the year-end board meeting be scheduled for December 30th, 2024. And these were the dates that were discussed during work session, because those are the three that we do need to move because of conflicting interest of those meeting dates. So that is the recommendation we're going with today.
Okay, I'd ask for a motion to set the board meeting dates.
I'll move to set the board meeting dates as listed.
Okay, thank you. Motion by Nazca, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Newman. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
Next item I have then is the committee assignments. Background is customary that the Board of Commissioners establish and reaffirm the committees to which they are a member of each calendar year. The recommendation is to approve the text resolution adopting the Commissioners' Committee assignments for 2024. And I think you have them before you. Let's see if she's got them.
Would we like to go through them before I ask for a motion, or did everybody have a chance to look?
These should,
I went
I
through
looked
mine.
at it,
Madam Chair, these should be up to date as to what you guys discussed at the work session.
At the
because
work
we-
session.
Yeah, we went through the tape and listened and went back to make sure we had them right. And the two to be determined, that was just because we didn't have the chair and the vice chair. So this will be updated.
Okay. If everybody's had a chance to look at them, I would ask for a motion for approval of the committee assignments.
I'll make a
moved.
motion.
Motion by Denning. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Byers. Discussion. No. Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed and carries.
And then my last item today would be the 2024 designation of depository investments in electronic funds transfers. Per Minnesota State statute and auditing standards, the designation of depositories investments in electronic funds transfers shall be approved by the governing body annually. The Todd County Board of Commissioners approves the following by motion: to approve the attached resolution for the designation of depository investments and electronic funds transfers. And the list is on the next page of where we do business. American Heritage, Cetera Bank, Banking is our investments through American Heritage. Minnesota National has some of our money, and they also have, which is called a Gold Sweep, which is our investments out there. Morton Capital Marketing, that is an investment firm. US Bank is where we do our bonds through, and the Magic Fund is on there. We haven't done any business with them since COVID. They were solicited during COVID, and then they kind of just dropped the ball on us, but we leave them out there in case they have a good investment at the time. We can utilize them because we are in partnership with them, but just so you know, we don't have any money with them right now.
Okay, hearing this, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion by Byers, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Newman. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries. And we will go into the standing reports, auditor treasurer.
As of right now, we're just wrapping up year end. We're closing out all the finances. We did that on Friday, and setting forth for the new year and prepping for election. It's amazing how fast that presidential nomination is requiring all of our attention, because we have to do all of our ordering today for that. So election season is upon my office.
Okay,
Thank you, that's all I have.
Coordinator?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Since our last meeting, I have one thing to report, and Commissioner Newman did send on to me the official award of the Minnesota Historical Cultural and Heritage Grant. So we did officially receive that $395,000 grant.
Oh,
So
Very nice.
Yes.
Wonderful.
It's been a long time coming, a lot of work. Thank you, Chris. You put unbelievable hours in it. Yes. Commissioners' reports? Commissioner Denny?
Yep, I was able to get to a library meeting, Prairie Lakes, meeting, emergency service board meeting, and then my wife had a new baby, and so we spent a couple days over, Christmas and New Year's with that one, so,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes, Madam Chair. I just want to thank the department heads. Also, I want to thank County Coordinator with the passing of Commissioner Erickson earlier last spring. It put a lot of extra meetings on both Commissioner Becker and myself, and we made it through it. Commissioner Byers, we welcome you for 2024. And like I said, I just want to thank everybody, Finance Committee, everybody for last year, especially Commissioner Becker. I think we set a couple records as far as committees during
Number
the
of
day.
meetings.
Number of meetings during the day. So, yeah, and thank you, Barb. So that's all I got.
Thank you. Commissioner Byers?
I don't think I have any new reports since the last one, so.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Nasca?
No, new reports for meetings for myself either. Just spent a lot of time with the kids and family and some friends. So it was a good little break and got a little extra time with the kids with them being out of school.
Okay, thank you. Well, for mine, it was mentioned to me this morning that Commissioner Newman is celebrating 20 years as being a commissioner this morning.
Congratulations, Randy.
So congratulations to you. That's absolutely
Congrats,
awesome.
Randy.
Yes. And with that, I have no further reports. And we will recess until January 16th. So we'll call this closed, and then we'll start the work session in about 5-10 minutes. We'll have to wait for Adam to come up.
Commissioners, can we get you together so we can get pictures for the website?
Oh yeah, we gotta get Bob on the website.
I was gonna say.
No, I-
we can do it after the work
No,
I didn't put
we
my
can
makeup
do
on
it.
to
Gotta do
get
this.
it.
Okay, you still gotta get together.
Yeah, we're ready whenever you are. Okay, go ahead, Adam. Thank
Okay,
you.
good morning. There's a request to have an update on some violations that we had worked on in the past. Just an update on where we're at with these. So to go back in time, at the end of 2022, this is a list that we had worked on at that time, that some were assessed, some were not. So there's updates on all those here, but the intention at that time, it would have been in October, I believe, John had asked that we take all those and get them to his office so that he can put them through the legal system rather than continuing to assess the penalties on these, because what was happening is some people were paying the tax assessment and then not resolving anything, or others were just choosing to not pay their taxes altogether, which I looked at just a couple that's continuing to happen. There's old assessments that are still sitting out there in their taxes. So these all, not all of them, but most of these all went to John's office, and he had put them through that whole process that I'm not totally familiar with. So I was hoping John was here, he'd be able to give a better update on some of these than I would, but I'll give as best update as I can here, and I have some information in the packet here. So I'll walk through this here. So the first one was the Tim Forcier property in Commissioner Newman's district. This was one that we had assessed a number of years. And it was on the verge of getting close. It was looking better, but we gave this one over to John's office, and the cleanup had been completed to the point where there's no longer a public nuisance, and I put case dismissed. I hope that's the right term, but that one is off the docket at this point. Flipping to now, I should have put page numbers. I apologize for that. I believe this would be page 3. The Tim Wagner property in 2022, I believe when we were looking at this one, had changed ownership. And I can't remember the previous owner's name, but I had met with Tim on the site in the fall of 2022. And you can see some of the photos on the following pages. It might be better to look at the screen because it should be in color. But you can see, go down a little further. So this would be a 2020 image. You can see where the driveway kind of loops to the south. And there's a big accumulation of stuff in there. If you scroll just one more photo down, this would be spring of 23. You can see that that's pretty well cleaned up. And I have the images, I believe, from our pictometry so you can get that side view. It just shows it a little better. There's some vehicles that had been cleaned up. And you can see all the old shells of cars and stuff there. A little easier to see in this image. And one more would be the spring of 23 image and the progress that's been made on that one. I've not been back to the site, but my understanding from talking with him on site is that they intend to build here in the future. And so they're working on getting it all cleaned up. When I was out there visiting with him, he was cleaning out a shed that was so full of stuff you couldn't step inside of it. So they're making some progress there, and we'll continue to keep tabs on that. Flipping next, this is the David Larson property. This one David had passed away right around the time that we were working through the assessment process, and to this day it's still under David's name. So I don't even know who to contact related to this, but once we have that, this would be definitely one that we'll go back to and try to get some progress on, because there's a trailer house, I believe, and a halfway burnt down house, and just tons and tons of, I mean, you can see it in the pictures there, metal stuff, real garbage, that sort of stuff. It's a little ways off the road, but even from the highway, you can see the mess that exists out there. So no major update on that, mostly because the ownership of the property has not changed yet. And the photos that you see there, confirm this. Yeah, the photos you see there are from past years, just as to help you kind of remember what that property consisted of. The Jeff and Christine Kuhlman property, this is another one we had placed some assessments on over the years. This one was handed over to the county's attorney's office. Some progress has been made on this one. You can see some updated photos there. The old rafters that were there have been taken down, and some things have been moved around and being disassembled. The progress is slow, but it's happening. And I believe John would be able to give a much better detailed idea of what's going on with this one, but I believe they had some sort of plan and execution dates to get things done on the property And I don't think those had been met the first time around, so what the next steps are with it, I don't know, but this is certainly one, this is one of the bigger ones. It's right off of Highway 71, so it's one that we definitely keep tabs on. We, even with it being in John's hands, we've made 2 or 3 site visits out there just to take photos and documents what's happening with it.
Nice.
So you can see in some of the early images, the rafters were still kind of there, and then there's 23 images there that you can see that at least that part has been addressed. Moving forward, William and Marsha Owen. I don't have any update on this one. This was another one we had handed over to the county attorney's office. And I had not got an update throughout the year. This one consists of just general stuff out in the woods and stuff, but I believe they had some garbage that they weren't disposing of properly also. So this one I'd have to get a better idea of what's going on with it. And this is one of those also that we had done, I believe, 3 years of assessments on it, and they're still paying past years and no cleanup, and they weren't paying the penalty either. Okay, and we'll jump forward again here. This is Harold Harcum, which is now under Garlene Cameron also. We had been sending notices and doing the assessments, and then we handed this over to the county attorney's office because we weren't seeing any progress on this one, and through that process discovered that Harold had passed away a number of years ago. And so this is one we're gonna have to pick back up with new ownership and see if we can get some progress made on this one. And then again, there's some photos there to see what's going on with it. Okay, and then I don't know what page I'm on now, but this is towards the bottom of the page. I think you gotta go just a little bit further here. Maybe one more. There we go. Okay, so this is Allison Hiltner. Allison's a new owner of this property. Previously, this was Mary Ann and Steve Gerving, if you remember that last name. This was, I forget, what's the little town up north? Pillsbury? No, Philbrook. Philbrook. Lots of garbage stuffed in a garage, no garage doors, doors busted out on the house, in a residential area that we have been working to get this cleaned up for a while. And again, we turned this one over to the county attorney's office. It changed ownership, and you can see in the photos some distinct differences. So that'd be a 2020 image there. You scroll one more, you can see how well around the site had been cleaned up. I can't confirm anything inside of that shed. If you're on that street, which looks into those garage doors, if you were there, you'd see the garbage if it was still there, but there's clearly some good progress happening there. So this is another one we'll continue to track and make sure that it continues to get cleaned up, but it's certainly on the right path. Next, I don't have any photos on these last couple, or 3 of them here, just quick updates. Linda Jean Hansen, that was just a septic tank that needed to be abandoned. That one was resolved through the assistance of the county attorney. Gideon and Ella Schwartzentruber, this was one where they built house, didn't get permits, lack of septic compliance, those sort of things. We had set deadlines for them to submit septic design and then take care of permitting and such. So from the end of 2022 till now, it's all been done. We have some minor stuff with the septic system that we need to resolve. They got it installed, everything looked fine, but they used some wrong pipe. So that has to be dug up and replaced. So we're still working with them to try to get that done. They got it designed, but did a homeowner's install, which is legal. But that's why we do inspections, and we're working on getting that stuff resolved with them yet. And lastly, I believe this is the last one, is Marvin Dryna. This is another one that John's office has been working hard on. They had some deadlines set to get things cleaned up, or it would go to some next level of some sort of penalty. I'm not sure. John would be able to answer that better. I believe the first deadline's coming up sometime in 2024 here. I've been by there a number of times because it's on a pretty busy intersection of the county, and I don't see any noticeable progress. This one has raised some pretty good ideas as to how to go about cleaning these up with a group effort using sentence to serve and different departments and using our solid waste guys out there. but this is one that might go through an abatement process if it does not get cleaned up. So that's the update on those that we were wrapping up from 2022.
Adam,
sorry,
if
go
I
ahead.
could?
Yep.
I would like to give that property, I think, to Commissioner Noska. It's not in District 1?
I believe it is in your district.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. And now-
it's District 4, definitely.
Yes, I will fix that. And I
drive by
remember
it every
having that
day.
conversation in 22.
Yeah, I just,
I will fix that. I used the same report and just update it, so I will fix that.
What was that?
My apologies.
There's a lot there. That one keeps getting worse.
So that's the update on previous ones. Happy to answer any questions either now, or if you have questions after, I can do that. Looking to 2024, we're gonna pick back up on our normal assessment process. I've been going through and updating and making sure all the violations are in order and doing a review. We rank and score them to have some sort of justification as to why we're addressing some over others first. So we're getting that updated, and we will send first notices in January here. It's if you remember the process, it's kind of a 3-letter process, notifying them again with notice that they have waived their right to appeal that. And then the third is, you still haven't done anything, this is gonna go on the commissioner's agenda. So but we give them ample time in between each of those notices to try to make some progress. And then, so as commissioners would probably see those end of September, early October for the first time at a work session. We'll work through those, and then the assessments have to be placed before October 15th. So it would be before that date that they actually come to a regular board meeting to determine if they should have that assessment or not. But we are working on organizing our list and updating that to make sure we're going through the right process here. This would be going into 2024 now. But-
Adam and I work together on the special assessment process that we tried. My recommendation is, could we see how this goes with the attorney's office? I think that has more bite than ours. It just ends up being a lot more work because Adam will give us the first year, it's only $1,000. $1,000 is a lot of money, but some of these people don't care. So they just let it roll, and then it ends up more work in my office because then they forfeit, or they begin the forfeiture process, and we have to do all the steps for that. And then at the last minute, if they really want the property, then they can pay it all up. It just, to me, it just seems there's a lot of Mickey mousing around, whereas if it just went right to the attorney's office and they got even a distinctive letter coming from some kind of judicial legal process, that it would bite more than just, well, here's a letter from your auditor treasurer, here's a letter from your, soil water conservation, planning, zoning administrator, and then they just let it roll. They just roll the dice saying, well, if we know we'll forfeit for 3 years, so that's just my opinion. We've done it, we work well together, it works for some people, but there's more that just let it roll.
I just think it's important that we stay ahead of it and bring it to the commissioners so that people are aware that we are tracking them and we haven't just forgotten about what's going on.
Absolutely. And I do agree with Denise, the county attorney's office has a lot more tools and bite to get these addressed in a more timely manner. This assessment process really works well for some people, but it's some of the larger issues out there seems like it doesn't do what we need it to do. So it's a great thing to have, and it's a great tool to have in our toolbox, but I think the county attorney's office, I don't like to sit here and just put the work on somebody else's office, but if we can work with the county attorney's office, that is awesome. And if we can use this tool, we'll go that route also. But maybe that's a good conversation for myself to have with John and Denise, or whoever needs to be involved with that, to figure out how we'd like to structure addressing these violations going forward. And then it opens up good conversation for how to address them if things don't get done and we're going through that abatement process. Who are the players to have at the table to make sure they get addressed? And then also ultimately the cost gets assessed back to the property, but at least at that point, if it goes to abatement or whatever, it's cleaned up. Right now, if it went to that, there's all these penalties on it, but nothing's cleaned up. So there's a lot of reasons to go that way versus another one, but it's an awesome conversation that we should have. And zero in on what the best path is to get these things done.
Madam Chair, so your point is, we have to be still in the loop.
Yes,
But
exactly.
their point, obviously, is it's gonna hopefully expedite or make it more efficient, because, I mean, if you use the term Mickey Mouse, which I'm assuming is back and forth, I mean, the more of that, the longer these things last, as long as it's in our you know, if it's in your district, you wanna know about it, so if you get a call from the resident, or you can help deal with the problem, but anything to expedite and make it more efficient, oh, brother, let's go, you know?
Exactly, the reason I bring that one up is that particular one we just had on the screen, the Marvin Drain one. That's been years we've been going back and forth. I think we've done a 3-year and then started over again. And I get numerous calls being from that district. It's a mile from my house. The city of Breville, people coming into town, they'll call, they'll complain on it. You know, you get enough officials calling and complaining even from the city of Breville calling. It's like, we really gotta do something. And I appreciate everything Adam does do on it. I'm not saying he's not, I'm just saying I think there's gotta be a little more bite to some of these that have been going on for years and years and years and years.
Madam Chair, question for you, Denise, on this one, on Marvin Drina in particular. Thanks for pointing out that it was mine. I appreciate that, Barb. But it's happened one 3-year term, and then it recycled into another 3-year. So did he pay it up, or what did he do to not forfeit?
What the process is first year's $1,000, second year's $2,000 penalty, third year, and then every year after that is $3,000.
Okay.
But again, somebody can pay that penalty and not have to clean it up. The hope is that to avoid the penalty, they do the cleanup.
Then you go through another process to review again and start.
Right, and we just keep assessing and taxing on these additional fines.
5-6 years into knowing that he needs to clean it up.
Right.
And it's paid us $6,000
Right.
probably already.
But in order to pursue them in some sort of criminal or civil format, the county attorney's got to be involved and
Right,
issue those. And the
right.
sheriff's office has to be involved to issue the citations. But
Absolutely, those nuisance ones that just lag on, like, for sure, get them off your plate, and hopefully we can
yeah, and
something happen with them.
the court system takes time just like anything, but I think it's still faster potentially than our process, because if we send notices in January, there's not a penalty until the following year. So you may not see any progress at all, even though we're working hard, sending letters,
Right.
doing follow-up, spending a lot of time and mileage in the vehicle, and, you know, to potentially not have any progress.
Right.
And so,
Sheriff, I think this one gets hit because it's right along the river.
Oh.
And so I get DNR calling, I'll get environmental people calling, saying, what's going on with this law? We're doing
yeah.
What does it take to get sentenced to serve to go out and clean something like that up? Or can we?
That was what the discussion was. There was a group, it involved Solid Waste, Health and Human Services, myself. I think Kathy was in the email. It was sent from John, talking about what resources do we have to go out there, get this cleaned up, and we want to do it at a good price. If we just send a local contractor out, the cost is going to be substantial, and ultimately that's going to come back to the county somehow and having to process that. But at least in the end, it's cleaned up when it goes back up for sale, or I don't know exactly how that process works, but, how do we clean it up and who the right people are? That's what I envision it would be awesome, to set some sort of structure that if we're going to go through this abatement process, how do we do it? What's the right way? What tools do we have here to just get it done efficiently and at a better cost than if we just sent somebody out there to do it?
I mean, with these fines that we're putting on, $1,000 first year, $2,000, can we use that fine money
Right.
for cleanup?
I don't know, but it's a good question.
designated, we haven't. I mean, it's just.
Right.
I mean, is that something that we should be looking into?
That I've had that exact same thought, that we're taking these penalties and hopefully that's building the pot. Well, I didn't know if that money could be just put right back or where it even went to, but that would be a great thing to use those penalties on. Somebody paid it and cleaned it up, whatever. We got this pot of money to get started cleaning this other one up to take the impact off paying for it.
So, Madam Chair, the other thing that concerns me is the tax forfeiture when the state, with that lawsuit
Yeah.
down at the Supreme Court on tax forfeiture,
Well, the problem with this is if
It
it
muddies
went
the water.
well, and if it forfeits, we're gonna be stuck cleaning this up anyhow. We've had that in my forfeited houses in Staples. And if you get the sentence to serve to come clean, you still have a bill there. You have the bill that goes to the transfer station. One little house in Staples cost us almost $7,000 just to clean it because it was a garbage house in town. So I can't imagine what this corner lot would be.
Yeah, it's gonna take some substantial effort.
Somebody with a record in there and somebody that wants to take the scrap steel and everything, and maybe you could recoup a little with that. There's a bunch of iron all over that property, but
Yeah.
I don't know
I
what
mean-
you'd get back.
One way or another, if it does come back to us, we're gonna be paying for it down the road somewhere.
Has he been contacting you at all, responding at all?
Never. The only contact I've been able to get is when I go to the site
Knock on
and
the
meet with
door.
him. He's maybe answered calls. I'd have to go back through all the notes on the parcel. So we have had contact over the years, but it has not resulted in progress. And even to this day, I can't say when you drive by there. I mean, it's on the corner of County 5 and 14, busy intersection. A lot of people see it. I think you could make the argument that it's gotten worse.
One leaves and 10 come back.
It's what happens. So I think it opens up a great conversation about maybe there's a better process to address these things and get it done in a more timely fashion.
I mean, if you're the property, I mean, let's go back to the set and serve, you know, let's say they pay $1,000 fine year one, right? And you send a crew out and do $1,000 worth of work. I mean, to me, the property owner is getting a heck of a deal. You can't get nothing for $1,000. And he's gonna get, you know, I don't think that changes the behavior at all, personally. I'm just gonna sit back and let them find me and then, then the set and serve comes out, which, I mean, that's a great resource to use that tool. But I don't know how, I mean, not that we're behavioral change people here, but again, I don't think that changes behavior at all.
I think you'd have to wait to send sentence to serve out there until after it forfeited, till it was our property, use the money that had been
Okay.
paid from other properties and do it. I don't think you'd want to do it. Well,
Well, I don't know.
they still owned it, because
Well,
you're
right.
giving them hand.
Plus, you might have somebody over the fence with a
Right.
22 that's, get off my property, you know? You'd have to have sheriffs, obviously there would be with the sentence to serve, but I don't know.
Right.
Okay, with that, are any,
Question back there.
oh, excuse me, Mike.
Yes, Commissioners, I just want to also just kind of remind you that this kind of falls in like within the emergency management when we have to do cleanup, and doing cleanup on private property is not allowed because we're using government resources. Plus, it leaves us open for liability if somebody gets hurt, if we do damage to their property, that also can turn around and become a lawsuit against the county. So I just kind of want to throw that out there. So again, like you said, Commissioner, it pretty much has to come over as a forfeiture to the county before we can take
We
any
can-
action.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mike.
Good deal. Thank you.
Any other questions for Adam?
Just, on the violation stuff,
Yeah,
and that's the only thing we're gonna talk about at work session on violation stuff?
if it's not on the agenda, do we?
Okay,
Well, I believe that it was not placed on the agenda due to reasons that the meeting, he's asking about that violation one. And we
About
were
the
not discussing that one.
Violation.
Well, the CUP's out it.
Oh, right.
We weren't discussing those.
Okay, right. But on anything, I am available. Come ask questions. I'll provide whatever you guys ask for or need, so please ask your questions related to anything. I'm happy to have a conversation.
Yeah, and we do have that planning and zoning meeting Thursday.
Yep.
At 6 o'clock here.
Yep.
In the boardroom. Okay. And it was advertised, all of us as commissioners can be present. Okay, thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Yep. With that, we will be adjourned for the day. Thank you.
Adam, you got a second?